Ravens fans need to stop the Ronnie Stanley slander. First question came from my guy Moores. He said, "What's up, Ingraven? Hope everything is going well and that you and your family are safe down in Florida with that hurricane looming." I appreciate it. We are good. I'm recording this Wednesday at 2:41 p.m. We're good right now. Us being in South Florida, we're on the outskirts of it, so we're not supposed to get the storm head on. Even though enough times, even if you don't get the storm head on, if you don't get the eye of the storm, you can still get the effects of it. So it's been really windy, windy and rainy, but nothing too crazy right now. I know we do have people up in Tampa. They've been out of power for a couple hours now. And one of my guys, he is in, I think he said Port Charlotte. He said he is out of power, right? He's been out of power for like 4 or 5 hours now at this time. So we'll see how it goes, man. But we're good. I appreciate it. I just feel for everybody who is not so good and everybody who is getting like the worst of it. So hopefully hopefully the loss of power will be the worst that happens. So anybody that's watching this that is involved in it is directly impacting you, just stay safe, man. Keep your head up. And just be smart too. Be smart. Because times like this, a lot of people, they don't tend to make good decisions. And some people, they try to just be smart, bottom line. But anyway, back to his question. He said, "I just wanted to ask if you agree with a take. I've seen a lot of Ravens Twitter, enough for Jeff Zrebiec to seem annoyed by it. Do you think our franchise left tackle Ronnie Stanley is a waste of a roster spot? Personally, I think Ravens fans are just feeling negatively about injuries to McCary and James and pointing these emotions towards Stanley. People forget how good he's been and how even one injury can take anyone out of commission for years. Shout out to Falele, by the way. He seemed to settle in nicely during the second half of that game in New England." It's a question right here. It's a good question. Interesting way to start off this episode. So do I think Ronnie Stanley is a waste of a roster spot? No, I don't. I don't think he's a waste of a roster spot at all. That's Ravens franchise left tackle. And we'll just go piece by piece. He said, I think Ravens fans are feeling negatively about injuries to McCary and James and pointing those emotions towards Stanley. See, with that, it's interesting because you can't control the injuries that happen to you. Nobody walks on the field and say, "Hey, you know what? Today I want to get injured because I want to miss a bunch of time in my football career." No, nobody's going into a game like that. But with McCary and with Juwan James, those injuries, they just brought out a lot of feelings, like you mentioned, for Ravens fans, because the reason that Juwan James was playing in the first place, the reason why Patrick McCary is playing left tackle in the first place, is because Ronnie Stanley hasn't been. And I think with John Harbaugh, that like fans, Ravens fans understand injuries. Like Ravens fans understand injuries better than most, especially recently. So with that being said, with them understanding injuries and how impactful they can be, I feel like Ravens fans, they'll give you a 1 year pass. They give you a 1 year pass. If you miss a whole year due to injury, they're like, okay, cool, fine, gotcha, you're good. And once you come back, they'll even give you some time to get acclimated. But if you miss more than a year due to injury, and it's been this thing that's just looming, and then you've even been practicing. I think this is where it's getting tricky for Ravens fans, because a lot of Ravens fans are like, hold up, Ronnie Stanley's been practicing. He has missed some practices, been given some time off in between those practices and whatnot, but he's been practicing. So a lot of Ravens fans are assuming, okay, he should be back. If he practicing, why he not playing? Like, what's the hold up? And if he wasn't ready, then Ravens should have put him on the PUP list, or Ravens should have put him on injury reserve. But he's on the active roster, and then with him collecting a large amount of money, that messes with a lot of Ravens fans' emotions as well. Because a lot of Ravens, again, that's why a lot of Ravens fans, they take away that pass. Well, again, you get the pass for a year. If you get hurt, you get the pass for a year from Ravens fans. After that year, it's up. It's up. And they like, hey, you need to be out there on that field. But with Ronnie Stanley, with him making a lot of money, that has a lot of Ravens fans upset and him not being on the field. And then John Harbaugh didn't help the situation with the way that he's been wording stuff. So, and Ravens fans are very smart. right? That's why I hate when people try to discredit fans and discredit the things that fans think and the things that fans see. Fans are very, very smart. Don't be misled or whatnot, or don't think, oh, just because a fan is a fan needs to stay in a fan place, or fans don't know nothing. No. That couldn't be further from the truth. Fans know a lot, and they see a lot. They observe a lot, because fans, they pay money in order to see their favorite team play, whether it be in person, whether it be on TV. They pay for memorabilia. They watch these press conferences. They analyze stuff. They criticize stuff. They do everything. But fans are not stupid. So fans have been seeing the way that John Harbaugh has been talking about Ronnie Stanley in his return. And they've been hearing how John Harbaugh has been putting everything in Ronnie Stanley's court continuously. Like, hey, it's on Ronnie Stanley. When he's ready to be back out there, hey, then we'll see him. Oh, he's in the best shape that I've ever seen him in. And he keeps on like bigging up Ronnie Stanley. Oh, yeah, he's in great shape. He looks good. No setback, And he said, oh, well, Ronnie Stanley will be out there when he's ready to be out there. So fans hear that stuff. And I think that has also made a lot of fans sort of kind of turn on Ronnie Stanley, so to speak. So it's tough. It's a very, very tough position to be in. He said people forget how good he's been and how even one injury can take anyone out of commission for years. And it has. It really has. He played one game last year. Of course, he missed a chunk of the previous year when TJ Watt fell into his ankle. And yeah, he's missed the first 3 games. Will he play against the Bills? Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's a very, very good question. So we'll see. But yeah, the slander with Ronnie Stanley, that's the reason that it's been happening. Because of all the things that we listed. Again, the money that he's getting paid, the money that he's making. The time, the significant time that he's missed. Because, again, the fans are like, all right, again, you missed the season. Hey, that's all it should take. You missed the season, get back here right now. That's how fans are. Fans don't play no games, man. They don't play, man. But you gotta think about it from Ronnie Stanley's shoes, too. And I know that this is what I try to do. You gotta try to look at both sides of the fence. Look at it, of course, you can look at it from a fan side, but try to look at it from the player side as well. Ronnie Stanley, and this may hurt some feelings, but Ronnie Stanley, he could be looking at it like, look, I got paid already. I got my money. Yes, I want to play. I want to be out there with my guys. I want to be back on the field with my squad. But he could be worried because he hasn't played in a long time consistently. One game last year. It wasn't good. But he could be like, look, I just do not want to mess anything up. I don't want to mess anything up because I feel like I messed stuff up last year. I wasn't all the way ready, and we rushed this thing last year, so I don't want to do that again. I'm not rushing. He could have had that conversation with Harbaugh multiple times. That may be why Harbaugh's throwing it back on him. He could tell him, look, I'm not rushing this thing. We did the whole rushing thing before, and you see where that got me. I'm not rushing it. I'm taking my time with everything moving forward. And he may have told them that. I could see him having told them that after week 1 last year. Because after week 1, that's when they were like, uh-oh, we don't know about Ronnie Stanley. And I remember we just started hearing all these weird like messages, and there was this weird vibe whenever like Hobbs and them, they would talk about Ronnie Stanley up at the on the pressers. And it was like, what is going on? And then come to find out he was hurt, and he was trying to rehab because he didn't want to do the surgery apparently. But then it was like, the rehab, this ain't it. The rehab ain't working. So then he ended up doing the surgery. It was like, okay, well, season's officially over. And with the way that last year went, it may have just scarred him. Because, again, there was a lot of rushing with guys last year. Now, Ravens, of course, this year, they seem to have really learned their lesson. So with Ronnie Stanley, he may just be taking extra time because he doesn't want to end up like last year.
Yeah, this feels like a dream, and you know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, he's a fan and he like the Ravens, and you know just what I mean. You two like gotta made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right engraving.
So team, keep it clean. Welcome to another episode of Questions from Subs. And just hopping right into the next question, it came from my boy George K. He said, what is the goal and odds of winning? Hey, Ingraven, I hope you and the fam are well and all the team keep it clean and Ravens flock. Here I go with the long and unpopular question. Ooh, here we go. Everyone wants their team to go all in like the Rams and win the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, not everybody wants their team to go all in like the Rams, but to win the Super Bowl, for sure. That is, I think everybody has that in common, and everybody can agree on that one, at least, well, most of the time. Anyway, he said, and of course, every team's agenda is to hope to be in the end to win a championship. Well, not necessarily. Some teams are just fine with being competitive and being contenders, but they don't. Some don't really care about championship like that. As long as their team is in the thick of things and whatnot, they making money. Hey, that's the bottom line. But anyway, I'll talk about that business stuff another day. He said, however, in reality, that takes a lot of things and a lot of things we can't control. Meaning, there are a lot of variables, and if you listen to all the coaches, championship seems to be kind of the second goal of the season. Ooh, he getting into it now. Hold up now. Let me explain. If you listen to coaches and even some players speak in the offseason and early in team activities, it seems like the goal is different. They all talk about winning the division is the most important goal. And in our division, it shows as the AFC North teams are built differently. The Steelers build their roster to beat Baltimore, and we do the same. Cincy, and so on. There's a lot of negativity after our second game in the fourth quarter collapse against the Dolphins, and I understand fans don't want to lose, and neither do coaches or players. And wow, watching that fourth quarter collapse was more than heartbreaking. But look at the AFC North standings. We are in a great position. What I'm getting at is it takes a lot of things to fall your way and to go right to be able to win a championship, and it's a long season. And a lot of it is all out of your control. Injuries, weather, travel distances for games, strength of schedule, and most of all, luck. We've seen New England go undefeated yet didn't win a championship. And we have seen some wildcard teams that seem to have no business being there win it all. He said Giants and Ravens. Since pro football began in 1920, only one team has had the perfect season and ended with the championship. So even the best lose. And the not so best get hot at the right time. So it would seem we have more control over what we know best, and that is our division. I believe our coaching and front office have done a great job in trying to do just that, build our team and win a division. And a lot of fans seem to be overly hard on Harbaugh, DeCosta, and company for trying to make us a competitive team every year. Though I believe that is where it all starts. You have to make the dance and hope the cards fall our way. To win it all, you need to be competitive, strong in your division, and you need a lot of other things that are out of your control and to have the cards fall our way. Seems in the postseason that lucky play gets you in. Mile High Miracle, David Tyree's helmet catch, Miracle in the Meadowlands, Stephon Diggs catch against our guy Marcus. Oh yeah, LOL, you see what I'm getting at. My point is most teams' first goal is to win a division and make it to the party. Well, yeah, for the division, that's where it starts. Because you win your division, you guarantee the spot in the playoffs. And you even get a home game too. So when you win it, if your goal is to win a division, that's can be first and foremost, because that automatically gets you in. And with those teams, obviously you're gonna put a little more emphasis on those teams because those teams know you the most, and you see those teams the most. You see that's what 6 of your games every year is against division opponents. 6 games. You play 3 opponents 2 times a year at least. Sometimes, depending on how stuff works out, you can play them 3 times a year. But you play them 2 times a year at least. So, yeah, you got to be on point for those. Anyway, he said, I have heard you ask, should we be just happy as fans for being competitive, but are we truly a contender? My thought is if we are winning the division and making the postseason, we are truly a contender. And we always seem to be in the mix. So my question to you, I guess, is, do you believe that our front office does a good job building this team for the physical and competitive AFC North? Or should we focus more on putting together a team to try to match up with other AFC teams out of our division, like Buffalo and Kansas and the NFL as a whole? Because teams in our division just seem to be built differently, except maybe Cincinnati at the moment. The NFL is a business, and I would think consistency is a better business practice than go all in to make that quick profit and be mediocre for a few years, which is why there have only been a few dynasties in the past. It's just rare and very hard to do. We have overall a great organization. Imagine being a Jacksonville or Cleveland fan. Yikes. See, with that, I know a lot of people, they always use those teams like those, or sometimes even the Jets, as comparisons. Imagine being a Jacksonville or Cleveland fan. Yikes. Imagine being a Chiefs fan. Or even a Patriots fan. Or even a current Bills fan. Like with the Chiefs, they was back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah, they won one, but they lost one too. But just imagine that. Like when comparing the Ravens to other teams, we don't have to try to look at the bottom of the barrel and be like, oh, imagine the Ravens down there. Imagine that. No, you could be like, oh, imagine Ravens up there. So it's all that depends on how you look at it. But anyway, he said, sorry for the long message. I was just trying to look at it from a different perspective and figure out why so many fans think the sky is already falling. Yes, we have seen the repeat mistakes, but I also see the repeat in injuries, kind of because we still aren't healthy. With all starters not playing in the preseason, it's going to take a while for chemistry to hit on all cylinders. We won't know who we are as a team until at least week 6 when we have all our returning stars, Dobbins, Stanley, Edwards. As the saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Love the content, the live streams, and the positivity, and most of all, the inclusion that makes us all feel like part of something great. And for that, sir, I tip my cap to you. Ooh, appreciate it. Now, some people, they'll send in a question, and they'll be like, oh, sorry for the long question. But it won't even be nothing long. This was long. But this was fun, though. I appreciated it a lot, man. As far as the question that should we focus on, should the front office focus on building a team built for the division or built for the other AFC opponents like Bills and Chiefs and them? I think a good mix of both. I think certainly a good mix of both because it starts with your division, but obviously you got 11 other games that are outside of your division. Because, 11 plus 6, 17. Okay, yeah, I just had to make sure I'm doing the math right. But, yeah, you got 11 games that are outside of your division. And out of those 11 other games, you could end up playing another one of those teams again. But you don't want to build your team just for your division just to say, all right, we took care of the Bengals. We took care of the Browns. We took care of the Steelers. We're straight now. All right, we're good. We good. But then when y'all run into the Chiefs or you run into the Bills or you run into another AFC powerhouse team, it's like, uh-oh, yikes. So you build to beat the teams within, but then you also build to beat the teams without too. Man, it's been like a really fun episode so far. We're only 2 questions in. Next question came from my guy Caleb. He said he went to the Pats versus Ravens game, so shout out to him. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope all is well. Sorry if this is a long one. See what I'm talking about? But this is not long. But anyway, he said your boy Caleb is back, and I did not walk away from my first NFL game with an L. We walked away with that dub, but there are some of my thoughts while being there in person as we prepare for the Bills. Lamar is better than MVP form and has learned how to dial in man coverage a lot better. Our secondary and pass rush is very suspect and needs to be addressed before playing Josh Allen. Ooh, that scares me about that game. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you all right. No reason, he said, no reason why we allow Devontae Parker over 100 yards. One of the reasons is because we weren't pressuring Mac as much as we should have. As much as they should have and as much as they, can I say they could have? Well, actually, they couldn't have because if they could have, they probably would have. But they weren't able to, so they didn't. But anyway. He said, number 3, Patriots fans were angry and drunk. And Marlon Humphrey is a true menace because while he was warming up before the game, he was jogging around the field, kicking down pylons as they were being placed, and then ran over to the Pat section and cursed them out after his interception. So Marlon Humphrey wasn't part of Team Keep It Clean. At least he'd be part of Team Keep It Clean during his live streams, his Instagram live streams. And even though he go to Marcus Peters every week and talk to him, Marcus Peters is definitely not Team Keep It Clean. Marlon Humphrey, make sure you go see him every week after the game. But anyway, he said, what do you think we need to do as we prepare for the Bills? You named the most important thing to me, that pass rush. The pass rush, because there's just been such a lack of it. And we got to hope. know their offensive line, they dealing with some things right now. But we got to hope that Ravens really take advantage and hope that JPP ends up being Superman. Next question came from my boy Justin C. He said, what's up? How you and the fam doing? I emailed and said that Patrick Queen will have a breakout year, and it's going in the right direction. But although the Ravens are last in defense, they really showed that scary secondary with 3 interceptions and 1 forced fumble and not letting Mac throw a single touchdown. So yeah, that was good. That was definitely the ultimate version of bend, but don't break. Seemed like it's breaking, but didn't break, at least through the air. They bent all the way though. Anyway, he said, but Mike McDonald has to stop putting these rookies on islands. You and your family have a good week and go Ravens. He said it himself. Get those boys some help. Next question came from my boy Colin. He said, yo, what's up, Ingraven? Love the vids and hope you're doing well. Appreciate it, Colin. Do you think the Ravens will pursue a vet interior D lineman like Sue or Linval Joseph because of what happened to Michael Pierce in yesterday's game? Yeah, because it sounds like Michael Pierce, again, this is why I say you can't discredit or discount what fans be saying, because fans, they hear stuff and they're very smart. But by what John Harbaugh was saying, it just sounded like from what he said from jump right after the game, it sounded like Michael Pierce was going to be out for a very long time, possibly even a season. So Ravens are going to need to get somebody. I know a lot of people have been talking about Brandon Williams, but maybe a Dominican Sue. You mentioned Linval Joseph, but I would probably go the Sue route because he was somebody that was a disruptive interior force. And so he's somebody I feel like could help be a little more versatile than Brandon Williams. So, I mean, we'll see which route they take. Or there's also Isaiah Mack. They could call him up from the practice squad too. But the more quality bodies, the better. Next question came from my guy Knox. He said, what's good, Ingraven? Hope you and the family are doing well. It's halftime and I'm watching this team play. I can't even be mad at our secondary. The best secondaries in the league would get lit up if every QB they play has a decade to throw. This pass rush really needs to get it together. Tyus and Ajabo couldn't come back any sooner, and when they do, I will put a Dafe right on the bench. Whoa! Hold up there, buddy. All right, he said, I could be overrated, but he's been very disappointing. Sorry for the rant. I'm just trying to get my blood pressure down. Hey, Knox wasn't having it, man. The Ingraven interview. Next question came from my guy Gold Morano. He said, happy victory day. We managed to escape consecutive fourth quarter comeback losses with clutch plays from our star cornerbacks at Foxborough, but the strengths and weaknesses are becoming more evident and the injuries, long-term or short, are beginning to mount. The Ravens and EDC have decided to part ways, and Dick Cass has called you, yes you, Ingraven, into the castle for an interview. He asks you a series of questions, the last of which is, in what priority by position will you draft or trade in 2023 for rounds 1 through 7 if hired? How do you respond? Before you respond to Mr. Cass, keep in mind that we still haven't found Lamar's Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill, and that Ronnie Stanley may very well be at his career's end, and that Patrick Queen hasn't quite lived up to his first-round status, and that Calais Campbell could and will retire at any moment, and that Gus and JK are at a severely high risk of re-injury. They're both only one wrong cut or horse collar away from being sidelined for an extended period of time. Wow, that's a question right there. And then he said, bold prediction, in 2022, Lamar will be the first Ravens quarterback to pass for 40 touchdowns. Yeah, we could definitely see that. Because he sure ain't been sitting out no fourth quarters yet. But he passed for 36 already, so yeah. And then ever since then they added another game. So yeah, and the way that he's been doing it, I just definitely see that. And he said number 2, his second bold prediction, Lamar will lead all quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns with 12. Ooh, that's a lot. Let's see about that one. Now number 3, Mark Andrews will lead all NFL tight ends in touchdown catches. I don't think that one is so bold. I don't. Because Mark Andrews, he been eating. And you know, like Mark Andrews and Lamar, their connection is just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how great it is. So I don't even think that's that bold. But as far as the question about how would I prioritize the draft by position, that's a tough one, because that's sort of like a list question. Right now, the way things are, offensive line. But again, hey, Falele, man, that boy could end up being left tackle in the future. We'll see. But again, Ronnie Stanley, I would be hoping, but I would still draft somebody, probably first 2 rounds. First 2 rounds at the latest, probably to draft somebody. Because it could work so many different ways. Say, for instance, you draft a left tackle high. And Ronnie Stanley's like, oh, hey, I'm back and I'm healthy. Oh, okay, great. You're on the payroll. It ain't like you're getting cut or anything. So, all right, let's get it, Ronnie. But so then with Morgan Moses, he's older. And, I mean, he ain't going to be playing forever. So you got the left tackle that you drafted that could play right tackle. Or, hey, maybe they could end up playing guard or something too, if you really want them to be on the field like that. But then you have the option too, hey, you draft somebody high. If Ronnie Stanley comes back, cool, but then you still got Daniel Falele. And then you will still have your guy that you drafted high. And then, again, Morgan Moses not going to play forever, so you got another option. So I'm like, okay, hey, this thing could work out. But, yeah, I would draft a tackle high. As far as a receiver, what would I do at receiver? I would still go out and get somebody. I would still go get a proven guy. But if they were like, oh yeah, if Pat Moriarty was like, oh, we don't want to allocate funds to a wide receiver, then I would probably still draft one high, just to get a nice little trio. And it all depends. We'll see what James Prochet does. Because the jury's still out, because he hasn't got to play yet. Then there's Tylan Wallace too. So it would all just depend. Right now, I feel like it'll be too early to dictate what I would do there. As far as linebacker, that would be another tricky one too. Because Pat Queen, week 1, great. Weeks 2 and 3, it's been got some improvements to make. So I don't know what I would do there yet. So much with just a lot, like as far as the tackle position. Yes, I know for sure. Okay, I'm taking a tackle early. But as far as everything else, as far as receiver, as far as linebacker, as far as pass rush, and that depends too. Because with Bowser, we'll see how he does, because he was getting better as the season went along last year. And with Ajabo, I don't know what Ajabo is gonna be. He was projected to be a first-round pick, but then he got hurt, so that dropped him. So it is so much that I wouldn't be able to determine yet until we actually got through the season. But tackle, that would be one that first 2 rounds for sure.
Yeah, this feels like a dream.